so in love with you.
Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers. Now, the data is in, and to date, we have already lost $2.3 trillion as a result of the current housing market crash and the trajectory of the house price declines that we're seeing across the nation. Now, I think one of the problems and why, not everyone is waking up to the concept that the housing market is crashing, well, first of all, it's unevenly dispersed. So it's not evenly dispersed. Not every metro area is experiencing the same signs of a crash. But I also want to point out that the word itself, crash, has so many different definitions, you guys. And I have gone on record and gone on video and essentially telling you guys what my definition of a housing market crash is, which is essentially the bare minimum, right? I'm not saying it's going to go down only this amount. I'm just saying the bare minimum that I believe a housing market crash is a loss of 15% in median sales price or in equity. So 15% in 1 year is my justification or my definition of a housing market crash. Because think about it, you guys. If we have reverse trends, equities going down, how long is that going to take to recover? And think of all of the people that have purchased real estate in the last year. Losing 15% in equity essentially traps in all of the recent purchasers and all of the recent owners. But not only does it trap them in their house, more than likely it's going to take a substantial time for them to get that equity back, enough so that they're not chained to their house. So really what I'm saying is, right now, if we don't want to use the word crash or reset, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. What we're going through right now are purchasers that are going to be chained to their house. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're going to be married to their mortgage payment, you guys. And that's what we're going through now. But regardless, you guys, do me a favor, understand I'm just a normal person. I'm not a financial advisor, even though my bio is as a normal person, a father, a current renter. Geez, I'm frustrated with my renting situation. But anyways, you guys, and someone that is raising awareness, I hope I'm raising awareness and reminding you guys to empower yourself as you're waiting. Credit, income, assets. We talked about becoming experts in your local market. And for all of that, guys, for my heart, for my effort, for me walking the walk, putting my money where my mouth is, like this video for me if you guys can. Please like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit notifications. Something's going on with YouTube. I don't know what it is, but please, you guys, hit notifications. Where we're going to jump into today is an article from Redfin titled, U.S. homeowners have lost $2.3 trillion in value since the June peak. So we're already down $2.3 trillion. And here's some of the bullet points of this article, y'all. And honestly, should be eye-opening, especially for people that are not really seeing a crash in their area and are discouraged. And I get it. I understand it. We want the housing market to crash tomorrow, right? We want it to crash tomorrow so that we can become owners now and we can afford home ownership, right? But that's just not the case, you guys. It's the reality of the situation. It's a bummer, okay? But here's a few bullet points. And this is really interesting to think about. The Bay Area or California, the Bay Area housing market has lost more value in percentage terms than anywhere else in the country amid sluggish demand. But here's a crazy thing, Florida. You guys, so even though California is suffering, even though, and this is what I'm saying, this is why we got to be patient. It does take time. Understand how things work. Understand the red flags. Understand 07, 08. It's not the same housing market. So you can't look at it the same. We're missing some of those ingredients, but we have additional ingredients that the 08 housing market crash didn't have. So it is different. But the one thing that's the same, equity bubble. We have a massive run up in equity and it is not going to sustain. But anyways, you guys, very curious to see California, as usual, it's the first to start, total collapse, starting to collapse, specifically Bay Area. But unfortunately, in some areas are still pretty strong, as you can see in Florida. And remember what Florida is, #1 state of migration. So everyone's moving to Florida, probably to escape the unaffordability, right? Probably. Now, the second bullet point, home values are holding up better in the suburbs than in cities, which have seen an exodus of residences due to remote work. So very interesting. Suburbs holding up better than cities. So pretty much tells me that people are moving out of the cities. It's too expensive. They're moving to the suburbs. And that's one of the reasons why when I went to Seattle, I went all the way to Port Orchard. Seattle's a huge tech hub. A whole bunch of people live from their, or sorry, a whole bunch of people work from their house. So to me, going there when I went to my Seattle metro area made sense because I'm guessing, guys, I think it's logical, but I'm pretty sure that the Port Orchard new construction is gambling and banking on work from home, quite frankly. So it's going to be interesting. Now, next bullet point, millennials are now in their prime home buying years, have experienced larger gains than other generations. So obviously there it is, larger gains than other generations, massive equity run up, biggest run up in equity in our lifetimes. I think it's fair to say the biggest bubble created in our lifetimes. Why was it created? Money printing, not fundamentals, not supply, not demand, money printing. The supply and demand didn't help. The fear of missing out didn't help. But without the money, none of those things matter. All right. Without the free money, those things didn't matter. Next bullet point. This is interesting. Asian homeowners have been disproportionately affected by home value declines. I don't understand. I don't know why exactly. I'm going to reference this, or this article will be linked in my description. You guys can go to it and read. I'm not going to really cover that in this, but, last bullet point, values in areas with high flood and or heat risk have held up better than values in areas with low risk, indicating that climate dangers aren't priced in. Interesting. And that really applies to obviously the hurricane in Florida that we're saying. Let me go down to this chart right here, y'all. But I want to read this first snippet to really put things in perspective, because here's what we really need to understand. And I said this on my morning live video today. We are at a historically fast price decline. The price decline that we're experiencing overall is faster than the price decline in 07, 08, 09. So I just want to put that in perspective, y'all. And this kind of goes into that a little bit. Let's read this. The total value of U.S. homes was $45.3 trillion at the end of 2022, down 4.9%. And this is, again, you guys, this is just to December. Okay. This is just to December. We have more price declines. But anyways, so just to December, we're down 2.3 trillion dollars from a record high of 47.7 trillion in June. So it's pretty much known that the peak was basically in June, depending on your local housing market, but peaked in June, losing $2.3 trillion. And we've just begun. Pretty crazy, guys. Now, here's the important thing to point out. That's the largest, okay? That's the largest June to December drop in percentage terms since, you guessed it, the last great collapse, since 2008. I'm telling you guys, 2023 is like 2007, right? Again, completely different reasons why we're in this situation, completely different systematic, breakdowns, inflation, unaffordability. It is completely different, but the sentiment, the mindset is so crazily, it's just crazy how similar it is. And what I'm saying is we have huge red flags and people are still buying houses. People are still buying overpriced houses. This is crazy, you guys. Now this goes on. While the total value of U.S. homes was up 6.5% from a year earlier in December, again, this is to December. We're obviously at the end of February. That's the smallest year-over-year increase during any month since August 2020. This is according to an analyst from Redfin Estimates on more than 99 million U.S. residential properties. Now, here's the decline right here. Okay, so that's the decline right there. Let me see, you guys, if I can zoom in. Okay, and really the reason why I want to zoom in here is you can see during this time right here, okay, this was the last great financial collapse. Do y'all see that? 2008. Look at the decline. Okay, it's down, but it's kind of, bumpy ride down, and then it goes back up. All right, and what I'm saying, guys, is we have faster and sharper price declines than we did in the past. And the reason why people aren't paying attention is people thinking, are thinking the Federal Reserve is going to U-turn and pivot, even though they're telling us they're not to. As indicated, in the federal minutes that was released 2 days ago, and it said in there that large declines are likely, right? Or they're at risk. Okay, large declines. They use large declines happening, residential and commercial, and the risk for that is still there. So they're acknowledging it, but again, look at the steepness. Look at this steepness. All right. That is a crazy steepness because again, historically, you guys, price decline takes some time. All right, it takes some time for price decline. So the fact that we have that type of trajectory already versus here where it's a little bit more longer, a little bit more subtle, it's crazy. So again, to all the people that are impatient that want to buy an overpriced house right now, look at the past. Look at the level of decline in the past. Okay, that's a bumpy ride that took time the last time. Do you see that? And that's from about probably about 2007 to about 2011-ish, would you say? So it's going to take some time, you guys, and that's really what I wanted to point out in this section. So I'm going to read this to you guys. The housing market has been shedding value because home buyer demand has been waned or broken from unaffordability. And this is why we don't necessarily need hypersupply to experience price cuts. We now have proof of that. We don't have hypersupply. We have historical low. Well, actually, we have almost double from where we were at historical lows, but it's still historically low inventory, and yet the fastest price decline in history. Do y'all hear me? We have historically low inventory, yet the fastest price decline in history. Y'all, pay attention, right? Which has also caused home prices to fall from their peak. The median U.S. home price sold for $383 in January, down 11.5% from peak of $433 in May, and up only 1.5% from January 2022. The thing is Redfin came out with an article yesterday. We have essentially year-over-year decline. All right, it's basically dead even right now. I'm going to make another video on that Redfin article, but it's dead even, you guys, and we're about to experience year-over-year decline. Now, home buying demand has slowed in part because of rising mortgage interest rates. Yes, that's one reason, and consequence of the Federal Reserve's effort to curb inflation. But what they're lacking to say here, y'all, is the excessive equity growth in 2 years, right? That's the systematic failure. The systematic failure is the massive increase in equity. We were supposed to have safeguards in place like appraisals. It totally failed. Why did it totally fail? Because people were willing to go above appraisal value. Our system failed us. We're not supposed to have this type of equity growth. This is insane. The average 30-year fixed rate mortgage was 6.36% in December. The thing is, guys, is right now the average is 6.8%. We took a look at the Treasury. It's up to. I guess what I'm trying to say is, y'all, I don't really personally think it's a good time to buy right now. And I'm going to calm down. Let me explain this to you. Buying right now, you would be buying houses that are overpriced compared to where we were last year with interest rates that are double. So that's what you would be doing right now. Do y'all see what I'm saying? Overvalued houses, interest rates doubled. Federal Reserve telling us, let the housing market reset, telling us large declines, danger, incoming, large declines, not only in residential, also in commercial. We have bank run tests coming to light. We have bank failures happening. We had a collapse of FTX already. You guys, all I'm saying is wait a little bit longer. In 2 more weeks, let me tell you what's going to happen in just 2 more weeks. Number one, national average median sales price decline. We're going to have that 2 more weeks. We're going to see that in Redfin. 2 more weeks. Wait for that. That's when the fear is going to start hitting. 2 more weeks. Year over year, national average price decline. I'm sorry I'm putting my crystal ball out, but you guys, the data is pointing that direction. It's not even really a crystal ball. It's just like watching the trends, okay? Number two, that's when we start having our spring and summer inventory dump. So if you want to be pessimistic or you want to say, housing market's not crashing, give it a little bit of time. We're 2 weeks, only 2 weeks away. National average median sales price decline year over year. And inventory growth is going to skyrocket. And the reason, you guys, it's going to skyrocket is because buyer demand is just not there. Buyer demand is absolutely broken. So, in conclusion of telling you all of this, what I'm saying is the number one most important thing to do right now is slow your roll. Empower yourselves. Take a step back. If you're frustrated, if you think you're missing out, you're not. I have so many comments. People, I have better credit. I have more money to save. Thank you, Travis, on my live video. You guys watch that. It's so endearing to me. But right now, you need to be empowering yourself, become an expert in your local housing market, have realtors do market analysis based on price per square foot, based on rent range, and also improve your credit. How do you do that? Usually utilization ratio from credit cards. Usually it's all about credit cards. Never go over 30%, but you want to be well under 30% of your credit line on your credit cards. There's tiers of improvement for the further under 30% utilization ratio you have in your credit cards. So in other words, just don't use your credit cards. And if you are going to use them, because I use my credit cards because I get money back from my good credit, but I pay my entire bill off before it's due. So I'm never going to get penalized because as long as you pay the bill off before it's due, it won't be reported to the bureaus. Now, again, that's credit. Another thing, income. Try to stack as much overtime as you can, commission, bonuses, keep working a second job, keep making money, right? Because that brings me to number 3, save your money. In order to save your money, usually you got to track your expenses. I had to do that. I'm spending so much money going out to eat, so much money on certain subscriptions. I'm a content creator. I have like 1 billion music, audio, overlay. I have so much stuff that I have subscriptions, but I had to monitor it. When I monitored it, I did something about it. I used an app called mint.com. It's great. I have no affiliation with them. I use it because I get to be aware of my spending situation and I can do something about it. So I'd recommend, my opinion, I'm not a financial advisor, but my opinion is we should probably all save even more money. Now, also, last thing, love yourself, love your life, love your family. Now, other than that, guys, I really hope you guys got some new value, insights, and perspective in today's video. And if you're out there investing in real estate, I wish you luck and I hope you win.